All right, we're on number 17. We have 3p minus 1 equals 5p minus 1 minus 2 times 7 minus 2p. I'm going to have to distribute twice again here, and I want you to be careful that you're actually distributing a negative 2. So 3p minus 1 equals 5p minus 5, me distributing the 5, plus negative 2 times 7 is a negative 14, minus a negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4. Just rewriting this quick. And now I just want to get my p's to one side. So you can either combine them at first or move them a little bit at a time. I'm going to choose to move them a little bit at a time. This is a negative 5. Move my 4p. When I minus, I'm actually adding that negative. So it's negative 2 plus a negative 4 is negative 6p. Minus 1 equals negative 5 plus a negative 14. Negative 5 plus a negative 14 is a negative 19. So it's negative 6p minus 1 is equal to a negative 19. Add 1. You get negative 6p is equal to a negative 18. Divide through, p is 3. That is a hard math problem. 18, we have 2 times h minus 8 minus h equals h minus 16. Distribute. 2h minus 16 minus h equals h minus 16. 2h plus a negative h, I'm at an h. This is like plus a negative 16. Equals h plus a negative 16. Subtract h over. H, take away a h, totally disappears. I'm left with negative 16 equals negative 16, which is a true statement, which is C, infinite number of solutions. 19. 2 plus 3z equals 5 plus 3z. Get my z to one side, and I get 2. The z's totally cancel. 2 is equal to 5. Again, the z's totally cancel on that side. That's a false statement. If it's false, we say it's no solution, and no solution is letter C. Number 20. What equation do we get when we solve a minus q equals a plus sx for x? That means we want to get x all by itself. I'm just rewriting that. So I want to get x alone. I start moving what's not connected to it. In a, take an a away, I'm left with nothing, so I'm left with a negative q is equal to s times x. The opposite of times, again, I want to get x alone, would be to divide. So I would divide through by s, and x is equal to a negative q over s, which is letter D. 21. We haven't learned this very much, but you have to know that circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius for this one. What's the radius of a circle that has a circumference of 17, round to the nearest tenth? Use 3.14 for pi. So I know that 17 is equal to 2 times pi times my radius. 17 equals 6.28 times my radius. Radius is equal to 17 divided by 6.28. Plugging that into my calculator, I get the radius is equal to 2.7 approximately, which is letter D. 22. A flock of Canadian geese migrated 1,623 miles in 28 days. What's the average rate at which these geese traveled per day? So I have miles and days is a comparison, miles over days. So I have 1,623 miles is to 28 days as how many miles is to 1 day. And then do the cross product. 28 times x is 28x equals 1,623 times 1 is 1,623. Divide by 28. X is equal, again you can use your calculator with this unit, 1,623 divided by 28 is 57.96 approximately. I look, the nearest answer is 58 miles per day, and I know that that can round to 58. So that would be D. 23. 23, we didn't really go over this. It's all about the conversion. We did a few things with it, but I'm going to say for time's sake that we are going to skip 23. And 23 will be offered as an extra credit opportunity if you want to go through and try to solve it. 24. 10 over 8 equals 25 over x. It's a proportion, so I can set the cross products equal to each other. 25, if I have 8 quarters, I'm going to have $2. Divide through by 10. And my final answer is 20, which is letter B. 25. X minus 8 over 5 equals 2 over 4. Do the cross product. I always make sure I start with distribution. So it's 4 times x minus 8 equals 2 times 5, which is 10. Distribute. Add 32. Divide by 4. Half it. 21 halves. And I see I have that answer there. 26. W plus 14 over 4W plus 6 equals 3/4. Cross producted, 4 times W plus 14 is equal to, cross product again, 3 times 4W plus 6. Distribute. 4W plus 4 times 14 would be 56 is equal. 3 times 4 is 12W. 3 times 6 is 18. Get the variable to one side. I'm going to subtract 12W. 4 minus 12, I'm at a negative 8W. Plus 56 is equal to 18. Take away 56. I'm going to use my calculator to help me with this. 18, take away 56 is 38. Divide through by negative 8. Half it would be 19, so I got 19 over 4. And it would be positive because the two negatives cancel out. 27. A van travels 220 miles on 10 gallons. Find how many gallons they need to travel 550. So we have the relationship miles in gallons. So they travel 220 miles on 10 gallons of gas. How many gallons does the van need to travel 550 miles? So the miles goes on top. We don't know the variable. Cross product it, 220x equals, multiply that. I'm just going to add a 0, so 5,500. Divide through by 220. I'm just putting it into my calculator. 5,500 divided by 220 is 25. I am going to need 25 gallons of gas. All right, we're done with that page. I'm on the back side, last page. 28, similar figures. So I have these two figures, 8, 7, x, 3. I want to find the value of x. So I just set it up side is to side is to side. So I'm just going to start. 8 is to x as 7 is to 3. Cross product it. 7x is equal to 24. X is 24 over 7. I see that they have it as a decimal, so I'm just going to plug that into my calculator. 24 divided by 7 is 3.4. X is approximately 3.4. Last question. So we have a scale factor. Our scale is 1 inch is to 12 miles. When you're given scale factors, you're already started out with the first relationship for the proportion. I want to know what is the actual distance from New Wilmington to Sharon through Mercer. Okay, so that means I'm going to go through Mercer. So it looks like I have this situation. I have New Wilmington, I'm just going to say New W. Mercer is right here in the middle. And I have Sharon. I know that this distance is 1.5 from New Wilmington to Mercer. And from Mercer to Sharon, it's 1.75. And this is given in inches. So the total distance is going to be that sum. My total is going to be 1.5 plus 1.75. 1.5 plus 1.75 is 3.25. So that's how many total inches. Inches go on top, so I'm going to write 3.25 is to how many actual miles. So cross product it, 1 times x is equal to cross product it, 3.25 times 12. Plugging that into my calculator, and I get 39. X is equal to 39. So it is 39 miles. And that's the last question on your pretest.